If this message reaches you, it is meant for you. For anyone seeking inner peace today, you are not the mind, listen. There is a moment in every spiritual life when you stop asking, "Who am I becoming?" and begin asking, "Who am I, really?" Not the roles, not the names, not the fears, not the stories, not the mistakes, not the expectations people place on you. Beneath everything you've ever felt or carried or believed, there is something deeper, something older than your mind, something more real than your history. Joel Goldsmith called it the I am, the true self behind your thoughts. And this message, if you let it, will change how you see yourself forever. Most people live their entire lives believing they are their thoughts. When the mind says, "You're not good enough," they believe it. When the mind says, "You failed," they believe it. When the mind says, "People don't really care about you," they believe it. When the mind says, "You'll never be okay again," they believe it. But the mind is not the truth. The mind is a storyteller. The mind is an echo of the past. The mind is a voice conditioned by fear, culture, wounds, and memories. The mind is not who you are. I am is who you are, the pure awareness listening to the mind, the silent presence behind every thought, the consciousness that notices the noise without being the noise. Let me tell you a story, real, emotional, and deeply American. A man from Pittsburgh wrote to a spiritual teacher after losing his job in the steel industry. He said depression hit him so hard that he couldn't recognize himself anymore. "My thoughts feel like enemies," he wrote. "Every day they tell me I'm useless, and the worst part is, I believe them." The teacher responded simply, "If you can hear the thoughts, you are not the thoughts. The one who hears is the I am." The man said that one sentence didn't fix his life instantly, but it cracked something open. It created space between him and his suffering. For the first time in years, he realized there was a part of him untouched by fear, a part of him that had survived every struggle, every heartbreak, every disappointment, a quiet part, a steady part, a sacred part, and that part was him. The I am is the part of you that cannot be broken, cannot be wounded, cannot be diminished, cannot be lost, cannot be destroyed by circumstances. It is the God breath inside you. Joel Goldsmith said the I am is the invisible self, the real identity, the life that lives you. When you say I am, before you attach any words to it, that pure I am, that is your true nature. Let's go deeper. Think about the thoughts you had today. I'm tired. I'm stressed. I'm behind. I'm worried. I'm overwhelmed. What if things don't work out? Every time you said, you attached your identity to a temporary feeling, but the feeling changed. The thought changed. The mood shifted, yet you, the real you, remained. You have lived through hundreds of emotions, thousands of thoughts, millions of moments, but the silent awareness that experiences them that has never changed. Here's another real-life example. A young woman from California went through a painful breakup. She said she would sit on her bedroom floor crying, repeating in her mind, "I am broken. I am not lovable. I am not enough." Days turned into weeks. She felt like she was drowning in her own thoughts. One night, while watching a video about consciousness, she heard the teacher say, "You cannot be broken. Only your thoughts can be broken." Something in her woke up. She said she suddenly felt like she was watching herself from a distance, watching the thoughts, watching the pain, watching the story her mind was creating. For the first time she noticed, that is not me. That is my hurt speaking. That moment saved her. When you awaken to the I am within you, you begin to see your thoughts as passing clouds, not permanent truths. You begin to see your emotions as waves, not identity. You begin to see your fears as echoes of the past, not predictions of the future. The I am never panics. The I am never doubts. The I am never fears. The I am never loses itself. Because the I am is the God within you, the deeper presence that does not shake when life shakes. Let me take you even deeper. Imagine standing at the edge of the Grand Canyon at sunrise. The quiet, the colors, the vastness, the feeling that life is bigger than your problems, bigger than your anxiety, bigger than your thoughts. In that moment, your mind becomes peaceful, not because the canyon gave you peace, but because for a moment, you stopped identifying with your thoughts. That silent awareness you felt while looking at the canyon, that is the I am. Or imagine sitting in your car late at night outside a grocery store after a long, exhausting day. Maybe you lean your head back and close your eyes, and for a moment, everything gets quiet. Your thoughts slow down. And suddenly you feel something, a calmness, a presence, a soft reminder that somehow things will be okay. That presence is the I am, the true self behind your thoughts. Let me share a powerful example from Texas. A woman who had survived years of emotional abuse told her therapist, "My mind keeps telling me I'm not worth anything." The therapist replied, "But the one who notices the thought, she is worth everything." The woman said that sentence hit her like a wave. She realized she had spent years believing the voice of fear, not the voice of truth. The truth was the awareness behind the fear, the I am inside her, the part of her that kept going, kept surviving, kept living, even when everything felt impossible. This is the miracle of the I am. It reveals that you are more than your story, more than your wounds, more than your fears, more than your failures, more than the labels the world places on you. You are the pure consciousness experiencing all of it. Let me tell you something very real. Every person you pass on the street, every cashier, every truck driver, every student, every mother, every old man sitting on a bench, every one of them has an I am inside, the same presence, the same spark, the same divine self. But most of them are trapped inside the noise of their own mind, believing the lies the mind tells them. You are waking up. That's why you're here. That's why this message is reaching you. The moment you begin to observe your thoughts instead of believing them, you have already stepped into the I am. Now let us go deeper into the American soul, because our modern life creates an even louder illusion of being our thoughts. A man from New York once said, "Every day I feel like my mind is 10 steps ahead of me. Constant noise, constant pressure, constant comparison, social media, expectations, news, opinions, stress. The mind becomes so loud that people forget the silence beneath it. The I am is that silence, the silence you feel in prayer, the silence you touch in meditation, the silence that speaks without words, the silence that comforts without sound. And once you begin recognizing the I am, you stop fighting with your mind. You stop wrestling with your thoughts. You stop begging for peace. Instead, you begin resting in the one who never lost peace. Let me share a story that will stay with you. A firefighter from Florida, a tough man who had seen many tragedies, once said he didn't believe in anything spiritual. Until one night, after losing someone in a rescue, he sat in his truck shaking, hands trembling. His mind was screaming, "You failed. You're weak. You're broken." But then something unexpected happened. He felt a calmness rise within him, almost like a warm wave moving through his chest. A voice didn't speak, but a knowing filled him. "This is not who you are." He said it was the first time he felt held by something he could not explain. That was the I am, the true self that appears when the mind shatters. Now listen deeply. If you have been struggling, if your thoughts have been attacking you, if you have been believing the lies of fear, if you've been carrying shame, guilt, worry, exhaustion, hear this. You are not your thoughts. You are the I am behind them. Your thoughts are temporary. Your awareness is eternal. Your emotions are waves. Your consciousness is the ocean. Your fears are shadows. Your I am is the light. And I want you to notice something right now as you listen. Something in you is still. Something is watching. Something is aware. Something is noticing this moment without effort. That stillness, that silent observer, that presence, that is you. Your true self, your I am. And the more you live from the I am, the more your life shifts. You stop reacting and start responding. You stop panicking and start observing. You stop drowning in thoughts and start watching them rise and disappear. You stop trying to change the world and start changing your awareness. And when your awareness changes, everything changes. This is why Joel Goldsmith said, "The I am is the substance of all healing." When you live from the I am, relationships heal. Anxiety softens. Emotional wounds loosen. Decisions become clearer. Life becomes gentler. Because you are no longer living from a fearful identity, but from your divine identity. Let me share one last story. A single father from Kansas worked 2 jobs. He told me he felt like he was losing himself in stress. One night, while his daughter slept, he sat in the living room exhausted. He placed his hand on his chest and whispered, "Who am I anymore?" In that moment, something whispered back, not in words, but in a feeling, "You are here. You are awareness. You are I am." Tears came down his face. He said he felt a peace he had not felt in years, not because life changed, but because he remembered who he really was. And now, it's your turn to remember. You are not your past. You are not your fears. You are not your failures. You are not the voice in your mind. You are the awareness behind it all. You are the I am. You are the presence of God expressing as you. You are the consciousness experiencing this very breath. So breathe, right now, slowly, deeply, gently. Feel that? That quiet awareness watching your breath. That is you. That is the I am behind your thoughts. And if this message touched your heart, let me tell you something important. Subscribe, not for the algorithm, not for the numbers, but because your soul needs reminders of who you really are, because you deserve peace, because you are awakening, because every message here is meant to guide you back to the I am you have always been. You are not the mind. You are not the story. You are not the fear. You are the I am, the true self behind every breath, behind every thought, behind every moment of your life. Welcome home to yourself.